The mountain didn't care who they were. A police helicopter slammed into the frozen wilderness, torn apart by a blizzard so violent even rescue teams turned back. Within minutes, command labeled the crew unrecoverable, but death hadn't finished its job. The pilot officer lay buried in snow, barely breathing, blood crystallizing on her face. Beside her, her canine partner dragged his shattered body closer, pressing against her with the last strength he had left. His leg was broken, his lungs burned. Still, he stayed. No signal. No shelter. No mercy. Then through the screaming wind footsteps stopped, a Navy SEAL. Alone in whiteout conditions, heard barking where nothing should be alive. What he chose next would break protocol, gamble his life, and challenge the storm's final claim over them both. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The blizzard arrived without mercy. Snow slammed sideways through the mountains, swallowing trees, rocks, and sky into one endless wall of white. Wind howled like a warning siren, erasing tracks within seconds and freezing breath in midair. Visibility dropped to nothing. Out here, even the strongest machines didn't survive for long. High above the frozen wilderness, a police helicopter fought against the storm, its rotors slicing desperately through the wind. Inside, alarms flickered. The cold crept in fast. The mountain wasn't just hostile, it was hunting. Inside the cockpit, warning lights exploded across the control panel. The helicopter shuddered violently as a sudden gust slammed into its side, sending it spiraling off course. Pilot Officer Ava tightened her grip, jaw clenched, fighting the controls with everything she had. The engine coughed once, twice, then screamed in protest. "I'm losing power." She shouted into the radio, but only static answered back. The aircraft lurched downward, rotors clipping unseen branches. Metal shrieked against ice. Then came the impact, bone-crushing, violent, final as the helicopter slammed into the frozen mountainside and vanished beneath the storm. Silence followed the chaos, thick, suffocating silence, broken only by crackling flames and the moan of the wind. Pilot Officer Ava lay sprawled in the snow, helmet cracked, blood slowly freezing along her cheek. Her chest rose shallowly. She was alive, but barely. Beside her, her canine partner Shadow struggled to move. One leg dragged uselessly behind him, stained red against the white snow. Still, he crawled closer, pressing his body against Ava's side, whining softly. Injured and shaking, Shadow refused to leave her. Ava's eyes fluttered open as the cold bit deeper into her bones. With trembling hands, she reached for the radio clipped to her vest. "Mayday, Mayday." Her voice cracked as she pressed the button again and again. Nothing but dead air answered her call. Somewhere far away, command would mark the helicopter as lost, another casualty of the storm. Ava didn't know that. She only knew the silence was final. The blizzard closed in tighter, and the truth settled heavily in her chest. They were alone. Shadow's ears twitched despite the pain tearing through his body. Every instinct screamed to survive, yet one command burned stronger than all the others: stay with her. He dragged himself closer, claws scraping uselessly against the ice until his side pressed firmly against Ava's. His breath came in ragged clouds. Warm against her frozen jacket, the dog shifted carefully, positioning his body between her and the wind, absorbing the worst of the storm. Each shiver sent pain through his wounded leg, but Shadow didn't move. If the cold was coming for her, it would have to go through him first. Ava's breathing slowed, each exhale weaker than the last as the cold crept deeper into her body. Her fingers went numb. The world blurred in and out, darkness tugging at the edges of her vision. Hypothermia was winning. Shadow lifted his head suddenly. His ears snapped forward, alert despite the pain. Through the roar of the blizzard, something felt wrong, different. He sniffed the air, whining softly, sensing movement beyond the wreckage. Danger. Or hoped up miles away, cutting through the frozen mountains, Navy SEAL Logan Mercer pushed forward alone. This wasn't a rescue mission. It was a winter endurance run, one designed to break even elite operators. Ice crusted his beard. Snow weighed down every step, but Logan never slowed. Years of combat had trained him to read chaos, to sense when something didn't belong. Then he felt it, a shift in the wind, a disturbance beneath the storm's roar. Logan stopped, scanning the white void. His instincts tightened like a coil. Somewhere ahead, the mountain was hiding something alive. At first, Logan thought he imagined it. The wind howled too loudly for anything else to survive out here. He took another step, then froze. Beneath the storm's fury came a sound that didn't belong. A faint bark. Weak, desperate, unmistakably real. Logan turned toward it, heart pounding. Every rule said to keep moving, to finish the run and avoid unnecessary risk. But he'd learned long ago to trust instinct over orders. He changed direction without hesitation, following the sound into the blinding white. The shape appeared suddenly through the whiteout, dark scar against endless snow. Flames flickered weakly, half buried by drifting ice. Logan broke into a run, disbelief surging through him. A helicopter crashed. Recent. He spotted movement near the wreckage and dropped to his knees. A woman lay motionless, her face pale beneath a cracked helmet. Beside her, a German shepherd bared his teeth, growling low despite blood soaking his leg. Logan raised his hand slowly, meeting the dog's fierce stare. He understood instantly. This canine was the last line between life and death. The wind intensified without warning, slamming into Logan like a wall. Snow swallowed the wreckage faster now, burying evidence of the crash by the second. He checked Ava's pulse, faint but present. Shadow's breathing was shallow, his body trembling. Logan scanned the mountains. No visibility, no air support, no guarantee anyone would find them. He could leave now and survive the run, or he could stay and gamble everything against the storm. Logan tightened his jaw. Walking away wasn't an option. Not from this. Shadow's growl deepened as Logan moved closer, his injured body tensing for one last stand. Logan stopped immediately, lowering himself into the snow. He spoke softly, steady, the way men did around trained dogs who understood duty. "I'm not here to hurt her," he said, meeting Shadow's eyes. The dog studied him, then something shifted. Shadow's ears lowered. The growl faded into a weak whine. Logan reached out slowly, pressing a gloved hand against the dog's chest. In that moment, warrior recognized warrior, and trust was forged in the storm. Logan moved fast, his training taking over. He injected Ava with a thermal pack, wrapping her in emergency insulation to slow the cold. Shadow whimpered as Logan cleaned the wound on his leg, binding it tightly despite the dog's pain. Snow pounded harder, visibility shrinking to nothing. Using wreckage from the helicopter, Logan built a crude shelter, blocking the wind just enough to survive. The mountain groaned under shifting snow, warning of avalanches nearby. Logan ignored it. He crouched between Ava and Shadow, body braced against the storm, prepared to hold the line all night. Night swallowed the mountains whole. The storm screamed without pause, rattling the shelter as if trying to tear it apart. Ava drifted in and out of consciousness, murmuring softly, her breath shallow but steady. Logan kept count, refusing to let her slip away. Shadow lay pressed against her, eyes open despite exhaustion, ears twitching at every sound. Pain racked his body, yet he never slept. Every minute felt endless. They weren't fighting the cold anymore, they were fighting time itself. Praying the mountain would give them one more chance at dawn, the storm finally loosened its grip as a pale, gray light crept over the mountains. The wind softened. Snow slowed. Logan stepped outside the shelter and fired his emergency flare into the sky, watching it burn through the thinning clouds. Minutes later, the distant thrum of rotors broke the silence. A rescue helicopter emerged, hovering low despite the remaining wind. Medics rushed in, lifting Ava onto a stretcher while another carefully secured Shadow. Logan stepped back, watching quietly as life returned to the frozen mountains. Hours later, the storm was only a memory. Ava lay safe in a hospital bed, her injuries treated, her hand resting gently on Shadow's recovering frame. The doctor said they were lucky minutes from death when help arrived. Logan never waited for thanks. He slipped away before anyone could stop him, returning to the mountains he knew so well. But Ava remembered. So did Shadow, because some heroes don't wear medals. They simply refused to walk away.